Hello, my AVID family. Hopefully you are now into the emergency learning plan schedule and you're figuring it out. So the best way I'd like to explain to the students how it works is instead of meeting in the classroom with the emergency learning plan schedule, you are meeting online in that Schoology folder during designated days and times. So hopefully you're getting adjusted to that. Those are good times for you to be going to your classes online and meeting up with your teachers online and asking any questions that you may have. So Mondays and Fridays are kind of your days off, but Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays is when you should be reporting to your classes during those designated times in the Schoology and see what your assignments are. So also in my Schoology during the week, I encourage you to go to the Google Meet schedules for each bell. That is a great time for me to see your face. So I enjoyed seeing some of my students' faces last week during the Google Meet. So the Google Meet for me is just a time to ask questions, of course, but also for us to just to see each other's faces and see how everyone's doing. I will say this week's Google Meet, we are going to do a Kahoot. So I would like to see everyone in there, and I would love to see everyone's faces. So I just want to go over the times of the Google Meet. So these are the only times that the Meet is available for my particular class if you're in my Bell 1. So Google Meet Bell 1 will be Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. So you go to the link and then put in the code, and then I will be there. Google Meet for Bell 2 will be on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock p.m. So if you're in my Bell 2, report to my Google Meet at 1 o'clock p.m. Google Meet for Bell 3 will be Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Google Meets for Bell 6 will be Thursday at 9:30 a.m. So report to my Schoology folder and click on the link and put in the class code, and I'll be there. And then Google Meet for Bell 7 will be on Thursdays at 1 o'clock p.m. So it is a great opportunity for me to see your faces during the Google Meets, talk to you guys, see how you're doing. And like I said, this week we will be doing a Kahoot, so I'd like to see a lot of participation with that. So hopefully I will see you this week during our Google Meet times. Also, I wanted to talk about school announcements. So I'm posting links in Schoology, and I think there should be in your general Schoology announcements, but school announcements are videotaped by different staff members. So I do suggest that you go and click on it and see different faces of different staff members doing the school announcements. So that's is available as well. So this week we are getting into inquiry. Last week we did writing. This week is inquiry. So similar to last week's assignment, you have 5 choices and you just pick one assignment to do and submit. So please make sure you get that done. There's some interesting choices for the inquiry. One's a good one if you're a gamer, so that might be a good task for you to do. So just pick one and then submit. I am making phone calls soon for those of you not doing your work, so please make sure you get it done unless you want to hear from me and your parent wants to hear from me. So this week is inquiry. So I decided I wanted to do a Q&A session with my daughter Vega Overstreet, who is just finishing up her freshman year at Longwood University. So I had asked you to submit some questions for Vega about high school. It's going to be about it's a little bit about high school and some in college experience. So thank you for your questions. So we'll go ahead and begin. And like I said, this is my daughter Vega, who attends Longwood University. So Vega, my first question is from Desiree. Explain the hardest part of beginning of college and the hardest part of beginning of high school.
The hardest part about the beginning of high school probably is, I know I was really stressed about what to wear, but in the long run that doesn't really matter because no one really notices that. But I think the most stressful thing is just like making friends and just making sure, because the course load in high school is a lot more than it is in middle school. So just keeping up with that. So I use just like a planner, of course, and just you have to stay organized because it is a lot more stressful than middle school. So staying organized is probably the most important thing for the beginning of the school year in high school. And the same goes in college. The hardest part of college was probably just leaving home. That was sad, and it's just stressful. But college is just a whole nother ballpark than high school. And I don't know, it's just stressful because you're moving somewhere else. But I think just making sure you have all your ducks in a row for college is what's important.
Okay, my next question is from Madison. What is a typical day in college like?
A typical day in college is like, so it depends on your schedule. It depends on your type of schedule in college because there's different types of classes. There's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, some every day of the week, some only once a week. So it really just depends on your schedule. But a typical day, I would wake up and normally wake up right in time to go to my class. So I would just wake up, go to class, and get my classes done for the day. And then after that, I would probably take a break from school and just like work out, get food, just relax for a little while, and then I'd spend the rest of my night doing homework. But it really just depends on your schedule. And I also have a YouTube channel, and I will link the video down below. But I did a day in the life in college, and it just gives you a rough estimate of what I would do in a typical day. Like I went to an RA meeting and just going to classes, going to D Hall, stuff like that. So that video gives you a good idea about what I typically do in a day at college.
All right, this question is from Cherish. Explain if studying almost every day is common during college. In other words, do people actually study 24/7 or is it just in the movies?
Well, pretty much you study pretty much every day in college. You have a couple days off. Normally people don't really do much homework on the weekends. But overall you do study pretty much every day, especially once you get closer to finals. You do a lot more studying. So it is like the movies, especially if you go to a bigger school. I know that the course load can sometimes be more than if you're at a small school. So I think it is like the movies where you do study pretty much every day, except for some weekends. But it really just depends on your work ethic. I think I could probably not have to study every day if I actually got it all done in one day, but I procrastinate. So if you have a good work ethic, then you might not have to study every day, but it really just depends.
Next question is from Tiara. She has two questions. What is your major? And in your opinion, do you think college is worth it?
I am a business major, and I think I'm double majoring in marketing and management. And I really like business, so that's why I chose that major. I always wanted to do business, but a lot of my friends go in undecided, and it's completely fine. They suggest going in undecided unless you 100% know. You end up changing your major a couple times anyways. For the other question, if I think college is worth it, I think it is. When you're in college, you definitely will question yourself, and sometimes you just want to drop out. Like, if you just did bad on a quiz or a test, you're going to think back and be like, why am I like in college? Just like I remember sitting in my dorm room being like looking at the ceiling like I should just drop out and move to Europe or something. But it is worth it because in a world like today you need to have a degree most of the time to actually do something, and you make so many friends. And the freshman year is hard. The first semester is hard. A lot of people drop out because they get homesick and they can't handle the course load, but it is worth it. And getting past that first semester, if you can do that, you can get past like anything. So it is worth it. At first you'll question it, but it is worth it.
This question is from Zoe. What is the hardest part about transitioning from high school to college?
That's a good question. I know in high school I didn't take too many APs, so I just wasn't used to the like course load in high school, especially senior year. You can just kind of slide by, not really do any work. But with college, like they don't remind you to turn stuff in. They aren't like, especially if you go to a bigger school. Luckily my professors, the classes are smaller, so they do remind you some, but I know at big schools they don't care. And most of the time professors don't care if you pass or care if you get a good grade. They don't care about your GPA at all. They just care about finishing the class. So you have to like be super organized and stay on top. And if you forget to turn in a paper, you can't just turn it in late and be like, oops, sorry. They'll give you a 0 in the grade book. They don't care how much it drops your grade. So college is really unforgiving, and that's what the main difference is high school, because high school teachers care so much about making sure you pass and helping you throughout everything, and college professors don't care.
All right. This question is from Brianna Curry. If you had enough credits, could you graduate high school early?
Yes, you can do that. I've had, I think, like 1 or 2 friends who did that. If you do have enough credits, and it is kind of easy, I think, to graduate early. You might have to take some summer classes. It just depends on how many classes you've already taken. But yes, you can graduate early. You most likely have to take summer classes, but it is pretty easy. I mean, I probably could have almost graduated early because senior year, I remember just taking random classes. It's super easy, and if you want to do that, but I would just savor being in high school as long as you can, and senior year is so fun, and just going to things like prom and stuff like that, so I wouldn't suggest that unless there's some extenuating circumstances to do that, but if you want to do that, you so could. You just have to talk to your counselor about it.
This is from Angelina. Do you have more freedom in college?
Yes. That's the problem with college, is sometimes you have too much freedom. Yes, you have a lot of freedom, and that can be a good and a bad thing depending on the kind of person you are, because I know in high school I had my mom always texting me about grades and making sure I do stuff and making sure I get home at a certain time, but in college you're your own planner, and that's one reason I really do suggest going to college, is because it does prepare you for the real world. Because I had to make myself go to class. Sometimes I made myself not go to class, but you don't have someone telling you to go to class. So if you don't go to class, then that's on you. You're responsible for everything. Like, you're responsible for making sure you get yourself fed, making sure you go to bed at a certain time. And that's where most people struggle with in college, is just the self-discipline and people going too crazy the first semester, all that kind of stuff. But that's one reason I do suggest going to college, because I feel like it does help you mature and prepare you for the real world, because you just become an adult just living in a dorm with you and your roommate, just trying to figure out living on your own, not having anyone hold your hand. So it is scary, but they do have most colleges have a lot of people that can help you with that, and you're living in a building with everyone else going through the same exact thing, so y'all are all helping each other, your roommate. So it sounds scary, but it isn't that scary.
One more question. This is from Tajaya. Are the dorms as small as people make it seem?
It depends on your school. I know some people that go to different schools, and I keep trashing on big schools, but I know a lot of big schools have small rooms. And that's just how it is if you want to go to a bigger school. And no, big schools have like pros also, but one of the reasons I chose Longwood was it's somewhat small, it's kind of medium, but the rooms were really big. And I actually did another YouTube video, and I did a dorm room tour, and you can look at that. And my dorm, I lucked out. It is so nice. It is big, and it really just depends on the school. But I will link that video in the bio. But yeah, it just depends. Like, if you go to a school in New York, the dorm rooms are probably 1/3 of the size as the dorm rooms, my dorm room. And it just depends on which building you're in. And some dorm rooms are nicer than others, but that's why you do the virtual tour or go to see the school or request a certain dorm.
Thank you for submitting your questions to Vega, and hopefully you have a better understanding about college life. I do encourage you to check out her videos. They've gotten a lot of hits. A lot of high school students, upcoming freshmen, are looking at her videos in terms of giving an idea about dorms and a little bit about college experience. So check out her videos about college
and
life.
I also have a sorority recruitment video if any of you girls are interested in a sorority, because I know even in middle school I was looking at sorority stuff. So it's just fun to look at.
So I am especially proud of Vega and what she's accomplished so far. College has been a very good experience for her. She has...
Even though I had to leave early for the coronavirus.
Yes. So I am extremely proud of her, and college is
Longwood.
really...
Check out Longwood. I love it. It's the perfect size.
So thank you for your wonderful questions. I couldn't get them all in. I was trying to save time, but thank you for your questions, and hopefully you got a little bit of something about college life from our session. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a thumbnail.
What is that? Oh. Wait, I have my water bottle.
Wait, look at the camera actually. Okay. It just like I take like a screenshot.